All right, hello, welcome. Today I'm starting a bit late as usual, no problem. We got a lot to talk about. There's a bit of preparation I did have to do. Also, I ate a little bit late, so that's my excuse. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about NVIDIA earnings. Apparently today happened. Pretty big day for it. FOMC minutes happened today. We might discuss later if I remember to, because there's just so much to talk about. Liberation Day tariffs. What's going on with those? And a lot of pardons from Trump have been, previous prisoners have been released, is essentially what's going on. And, Trump Media Technologies buy Bitcoin, and maybe GameStop did too. They did. I'll explain more in detail about that. Right now, let's get to our technical analysis, so stay tuned for what's coming up next. Okay. So we're starting off with Bitcoin at 107,899, 900. You get the point. We were just right at 108,250 actually, literally a couple minutes ago. As soon as I hit start, everything changes, of course, but that's fine. We do have this uptrend that would need some readjustment. This is a little, not too concerning, but just a little bit, just, beginning to be a little bit concerning due to the fact that we would have to readjust this uptrend, signifying that it is getting a little bit weaker. If we do get closer to what's showing up over here, 105,000, that could become invalidation of the uptrend, and we can start meaning the start of something new, obviously that being a downtrend, which we don't want to see, right? For now, we are maintaining this resistance right over here, 107,000, very perfectly, which is great. Our resistance still remains at either the previous all-time high, 110,000, or our current all-time high, 112,000 approximately. After that, we still got our other targets, which we'll discuss when we get there. My main target, if you've been following for a while, you'll know is right up here at 135,000. Some people even have their cycle tops set to where this is actually, around 170,000. I'm hoping for maybe over 180, maybe 200,000. Although I think that is a little bit more aggressive, right, for a target. Or maybe it's not, who knows? Maybe Bitcoin will surprise us one day. But that's where we got our eyes focused on for now, and that is for the upcoming future. We're talking about months. So we'll leave it at that for now. As of right now though, Bitcoin's still holding strong, right? Still about across 108,000 once again, hopefully. And this is a bonus position. It's not an actual, real position of mine. I would never buy Bitcoin at this price. That is out of the question for me. I would only consider buying Bitcoin if it's below $100,000. But I don't know. Maybe eventually one day I'll FOMO in and just buy at 100 and something thousand. Which I hope I don't have to do. That's why I haven't sold yet. I'm still holding on to what I have, and I've set my target at 135,000. That's where I'm currently standing. Let's move on to Ethereum. We have it at, it's actually up today, 2.44%. One of the only coins that is up, surprisingly, out of the ones that I review at least. It's reaching our resistance, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to continue from here though. 2,714 is the current price. Our resistance is around 2,730, you could say, right? Around this area. The highest point was 2,732. We have this resistance at 2,747. We have resistance 1 from pivot levels, which that's exactly where this current rise stopped at 2,722. So it's around this level. It's looking like a triple. That's not good. This triple, what do you call it? Roof? Resistance. According to price action, when this occurs, it is a downward movement. Can I draw arrows? I should start drawing arrows. How do I draw? Arrow maker. Oh, there we go. I don't like this color though. I don't like the default blue. Let me change it to white and... Oh, this is for text. I'm crazy. There we go. Something like this. I'll go full white and just... I like that little border that it kind of shows here. Give me a random number, 15%. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, cool. So something like this is what is to be expected, perhaps, for Ethereum. That could be the case. I don't know. I like this arrow, man. I really like it. Cool. We'll see what happens. This is just according to what price action theory should indicate. But everything could just be proven wrong. We can get some great fundamentals, which we do technically have. And that could just boost the price upward. But if no fundamentals come out, then we should expect something like this for Ethereum, although I'd hate to see that. It could happen. Our pivot level for support is 2,520 from where it currently is right now. What kind of a drop is that? 7% drop? Yeah, I hope that does not happen. Either way, if it does, the uptrend still prevails. We have these two, right? And our invalidation zone is right at this fib level, 2,425, before we start, considering this to start forming a downtrend, which would not be great and hopefully will not happen. Yeah. Great. Next coin is Solana, down 2%, contrary to what Ethereum is doing, but similar to what Bitcoin is doing in terms of sort of breaking its uptrend that it currently has. Although no need to fear, invalidation would be at 162 for Solana, where current price is at 172. We would likely just have to readjust this, and we could hypothetically readjust this anywhere along this line over here, right? But for now, I think it's too early to draw any conclusion for it. What just happened? I just erased my whole chart. Let me go back. I think it went to $2,000 price, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure my old uptrend was like this, yes. So we'll see if a readjustment would have to be made. Otherwise, a new downtrend would be forming. It seems like it would be a steep one. I don't think this will be holding on for too long, though. I don't think we're heading into a downtrend anytime soon. These are just choppy sideways movements. This week, we are still getting some fundamentals, mainly towards the end of the week. Next week would be even more volatile, to say the least, right? We're getting stuff like the non-farm payroll data, things like that, jobless claims, unemployment data, I mean. So, yeah, that'll be important to pay attention to. And more earnings likely of other companies. But for Solana here, we're chilling at this level, which is to be expected. Resistances, we're looking at the 185 to 187 area. And then after that, 195 from Fibonacci. I'm not sure if we'll reach this one over here. That's 200 either way. This is a psychological level, so I'll have it drawn so we can keep track of it. Please let me change this coordinate. 200. Thank you. All right, that's where I'll leave it at for now. Yeah, still looking fine though for Solana. I still have faith in it. Everything seems normal. This does not look normal though. XRP has already formed a bearish trend. And this is, I'm pretty sure I pointed this out on Tuesday. Not Tuesday, Monday, right? 25th of May. Or maybe that was Sunday. I don't remember. But yeah. But I also pointed out this could be something similar to what we saw over here, where it's just a little bit of choppiness. And then hopefully we start pumping once again to revert that super trend back bullish over here for XRP's case, right? As of right now, a downtrend has officially formed. The uptrend has officially broken. So we must respect that price action. This is kind of what we're seeing right now for XRP. Good time for shorting if you are looking for that. You could take some minuscule profit right over here of 4%. If you're using leverage, obviously you'd multiply whatever that is. Because you can see this drop to our next support level, which is at 220. Our lowest point of today was 222. Current price is 228. We're met at the resistance at 229, 230 approximately, right? 230 was always an important level. So there it is. It served as a support multiple times. We just broke through that support after hitting it like over 3 times. Way too many times. And now we're testing it as a resistance. So now we should start looking at things in the inverse. But like I said, I don't think this is going to last too long. So we should see a reversion hopefully soon as XRP continues to follow the main trajectory of where Bitcoin is headed, which if you know M2 supply, you know that stuff is headed up. That's all you got to know. Great. Next coin is our favorite, SUI. Look at this. Might have called this, right? 26th of May. Probably. Probably not. I don't know. We hit this level right over here. It's not invalidated, so Sui is still in its uptrend, and I did expect us to kind of approach this current uptrend that we have right over here, which is probably going to be the one that defines the bull run of Sui for longer term, right? We had a shorter one that went up like this, which obviously got broken due to sideways movement, due to other fundamentals that unfortunately happened to Sui. I do have an update on it, so I'll discuss that later. Current price of Sui is 362. It is percentage-wise down 1%. Struggling at this pivot resistance, 371 approximately. 374 was its highest in this recent time. So yeah, we're kind of chilling in the middle of this. You can see this little triangle thing, right, with the line in the middle. If you want to operate in a range, that's probably what you'd be paying attention to right over here, right? Obviously, you never enter in the middle. You either short at the top or long at the bottom. I still wouldn't short Sui, though. I think a breakout would be imminent. $4 seems to be our next target, and that can happen pretty instantly. 7% movement is nothing for Sui in a day. Usually moves double digits. Could also be to the downside, though, so just watch out. But anyway, a support level we do have, very important, at 322, which must not be broken, right? I think this is more likely, right? A bounce around this area. I would even be as brave enough as to put a trigger order around over here. First of all, we'd be oversold likely, because where we are right now, we're in a 50-50 area in the RSI chart, right? 49 is the current placement of the RSI. We were down over here, and RSI was like very low levels, not oversold, but around 33 to 35 was the measure of the RSI. So, I mean, obviously, if we do break this and continue lower, another 5%, that could easily bring us to oversold territory. And then from there, come on. Okay, well, you kind of get the point. Something like that can happen, a bounce around this area. That's at least what I expect. We're already getting a bit of early access as to negative super trends by looking at XRP's chart. Can Sui follow the same trajectory? Probably. It is a little more volatile, which can go both ways, and we might see that kind of happen for Sui as well. So that's what I would prepare for. I'm not saying it will happen. You always do have to prepare for the opposite scenario, the worst scenario, right? You should have already been in Sui by now. You've had plenty of buying opportunities, and you still do, arguably, if you have a long-term bullish outlook for Sui. Under $4, that's still pretty fine. I've always been saying under $3, even when we were under $2 at one point. I was still very bullish on Sui, and the recovery has been insane since Black Monday, Liberation Day, whatever it was that caused the big markets crash. So yeah, that's where we're at. Litecoin is a similar deal, a bit of choppiness, kind of what Bitcoin and Solana was doing in terms of testing the durability of the uptrend, right? We've already seen XRP succumb to it. Sui might be next, I think. But Litecoin still has got a chance, right? We've got a good support at 92. Next support coincides directly on that super trend invalidation at 90, which is also a psychological level. As long as we can stay above 90 for Litecoin, I think we're golden, right? Matter of fact, I'd even be brave enough, me personally, put some orders down over here. I was thinking of sending money over to this account so I can just start trading live once again. I miss kind of doing that, and I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I'll try to keep it conservative. Small entries, small price movements, bit of martingale kind of deal, right? Entering when I feel like it. No real strategy use. I'm not going to be using any indicators or... Well, I will be using like momentum indicators like RSI and super trend for trend identification, as I normally do with my price action analysis, but I'll just purely base it off of price action and intuition, and I'll see how that goes. And like I said, I won't be risking too much money, and I'll just have the money, real money in here to play around with for you guys mainly. And also for myself, if I can make a couple hundred, that'll be pretty neat. But yeah, we'll see. Nice. So yeah, Litecoin would have to have its uptrend readjusted. I won't readjust it yet. I think it's still a bit too early. So we'll see what happens to it. If we start rising by tomorrow, I mean, that would be great. Our next resistance is at 100 for Litecoin. And then, of course, our previous highs as well. Resistance 2 is at 107, and then 110, 111 approximately. The third resistance up there. We still got a lot of room to recover for Litecoin. I do expect it to reach its 140 high once again. Keep in mind, Litecoin was much higher, though, back in 2021. Let me confirm. I changed the look of my charts, by the way. I hope you enjoy it. It's now black and white. LTC, USD. I'm probably just going to have to use Coinbase's chart for history availability. Okay, we've reached 420 Litecoin. Literally 420. Okay. Easy number to remember, I guess, if you know. We've got a long way to go for Litecoin. And the fundamentals of Litecoin, well, arguably they maybe have not changed too much. Hey, that's still a 300% possibility of a rise. It happened in 2017 and in 2021. Both of them 1 year after the halving. Who's not to say that in 2025 this exact thing is going to happen for Litecoin? Not saying it will, it could not. We've seen a lot of altcoins fail, but Litecoin is a digital silver. Like, come on, it probably has to mimic this kind of movement. Although it's, I don't know, maybe, I know Litecoin was much more hyped up back then when there wasn't so much altcoin dilution. But still, you know, it's still an OG coin, so people will likely still be interested in investing in Litecoin. Hopefully, I don't know. This is awfully looking like 2024 before Trump election, if you're looking at Bitcoin's price action, right? If you know what I mean. Like, February, March high, April drop, August 5 drop, and then, I don't know, November election boom, kind of. I'm so used to looking at the Bitcoin chart, so I'm just hoping you guys would kind of understand and relate with what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm looking at this, right, for Bitcoin. Compare that with Litecoin. Anyways, no, it's just my brain. Moving on. So, Cardano's our last coin to analyze. I'm trying to get rid of that notification thing, whatever. It doesn't bother me. It's also looking like it's very close to its invalidation zone at 72. Current price is 75. Resistance is at 76. Next resistance is at 81, which would coincide with a downtrend that I kind of started drawing over here. Will it continue downwards? I think we would first have to continue upwards. Likely, right? Who knows? It really all depends. There's just so much stuff to pay attention to this week. But it could bring volatility to either way. I'll prepare for the worst and say, you know what, sure, if this does drop, I'll have a fat trigger order ready down there at 67.68 approximately for Cardano. Should be oversold by then, by around this area. So it should make for a sweet entry. And of course, we already know where this downtrend is coming from. We also have a larger one. So Cardano still got a long way to go as well. And if we talk about potentials, it's kind of the same thing as what we just analyzed with Litecoin. So yeah. All right. So Bitcoin's still 107,800. That's all I have for technical analysis. So let's move on to the news. That's not what I wanted. Anyway, so a lot of pardons going on from Trump. Has officially pardoned people like NBA Youngboy. I've never listened to this guy's music, but I'm sure maybe one of you people have. White House official tells Fox that the President of the United States today has signed pardons for John G. Rowland, who is the former governor of Connecticut. I don't know my states. NBA Youngboy, former New York Representative Michael Grimm. I don't know who these people are. Kevin, Eric, Mark, Todd, Julie, Tanner, John. Commutations for Michael Harris and Larry Hoover. So there you go, I guess. Congratulations on your freedom. NBA Youngboy sends a heartfelt message saying, "Thank you, President Trump. Grateful and focused." I'm pretty sure he got arrested for something with a firearm. I don't remember exactly what. But yeah. And also this guy, Chicago gang leader. So yeah, Larry Hoover, who was mentioned on that list. He was a famous Chicago gang leader who's been in prison since 1973. I'm assuming this is a photo from 1973 in which he looks very adult already. Maybe by now he's too old to continue committing crimes, I assume. And also being in prison since 1973. That's a couple of years. So Maybe he's a changed man. He's, like I said, probably just very old. The opposite happened in the UK, though, of course. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate were both charged with rape and human trafficking. They're now facing 21 charges by a UK prosecutor, even though they pleaded like not guilty and stuff like that in Romania. I don't know what's going on with them now. Are they going to be arrested again if they set foot in the UK? He can't probably run for prime minister anymore. Pretty sure that's what he wanted to do. He was going to start the Bruv government. I don't know if that was a meme or something. He seemed a bit serious about it, though. We know Andrew Tate is pro-Bitcoin. That's the only reason why I kind of care about sharing that. But yeah, he's now been caught with, well, I mean, he's been charged with those crimes. So we'll see what comes out of that. COVID vax is officially removed from the CDC's recommended immunization schedule for healthy kids and pregnant women. That means not everybody has to get the COVID vaccine anymore. I do have it. Wish I didn't get it, but it's whatever. RFK Jr. just doing his stuff, so good on him, I guess. If he thinks that's the best for the people, it should be the best. This one was really interesting and caught me way off guard. I shared already, I'm pretty sure, the news that Donald Trump was going to be making a golden dome, right? Yeah, I did share it. And Golden Dome, if you don't know, it's like the Iron Dome of Israel, the Iron Dome being this anti-missile air defense system. That's what they call it, the Iron Dome. And in the United States, Trump wants to do the same thing, right? Because that is just impressive technology. You can stop missiles in the middle of the air with counter missiles or whatever it is. So he said he wanted to do the same thing and called it the Golden Dome. And Canada was interested in joining. Mark Carney actually reached out to Trump and said, hey, cool, so how do we get this going, Mr. Prime Minister? I mean, Mr. President. This is what Trump says in this Truth Social post. He said he told Canada, which very much wants to be part of our fabulous Golden Dome system, that it will cost $61 billion if they remain separate but unequal nation. But it will cost $0 if they become our cherished 51st state, and that they are considering the offer. Just accept it, please, Mark Carney. I'm done with this liberal government, whatever. There is, though, no credible evidence that supports Canada reconsidering becoming the 51st state. Claims linking this as the Golden Dome missile defense system are unfounded. Canada talks with the U.S. focus on defense cooperation, not sovereignty changes. Canadian leaders and polls affirm strong opposition to statehood, prioritizing national identity. I mean, that makes sense, because that was one of the main talking points of Mark Carney, is that, oh, he's going to stand up to Trump. He's not going to make Canada become the 51st state. I think if anyone would make Canada the 51st state, though, it would probably be the Liberal Party. I mean, we got very close to that point with Justin Trudeau, right? But whatever. And yeah, Trump's remarks seem rhetorical, not policy-driven, is ultimately what happened. Especially after, like, it would be awkward to just accept this and become the 51st state, especially after King Charles from England and his queen, I guess, came to visit Canada to deliver some random speech that I'm pretty sure nobody watched. From there, though, they asked the king, what do you think about Canada being annexed by the United States? He said there's no room to comment on that. He refused to comment on it, basically. What do you mean? It's practically you're under its monarchy. It's under your monarchy, so you should have an opinion on it, but I guess not. Whatever. It's irrelevant now. There's other stuff that has been happening over the last 12 hours. Reporters have asked Trump about the taco, the Trump always chickens out trade. That's what people are calling it now, because it's no secret. You're seeing this as well. Trump puts on tariffs, Trump's take out tariffs. Trump puts more tariffs, Trump's take them back out, or he delays it, or he extends it, or whatever it is. And it's causing too much market volatility. People are getting a bit unnerved by it. And a reporter has asked him about it, like, and they've made a term for it, the taco, right? Trump always chickens out. And Trump responds with, don't ever say what you just said ever again, right? He's also ordered US chip designers, I'm assuming NVIDIA, to stop selling to China. I forgot to put NVIDIA in the thumbnail, I just realized. It's whatever. US pauses export of chip software and jet engine technology to China as well. And they announced that they will begin revoking visas of Chinese students. I don't know. It seems like maybe either those comments really got to Trump, or Trump is just pressuring China to get the trade talks going, because after they've negotiated that little bit of tariff reduction on each other a couple weeks ago, nothing much else has come of that, right? After they talked in Stockholm, Sweden, or Geneva, Sweden, Switzerland, wherever it was. Yeah, nothing much else came of that other than the tariff reduction, which was still good nonetheless, right? But now it seems like he's starting to put pressure a bit more. He's also seeming to put more pressure on Russia, threatening to likely sanction Russia because Russia lately has continued bombing Ukraine. It's kind of starting to escalate a little bit once again over there. I've also heard that Germany has allowed Ukraine to use their missiles to attack Russia, stuff like that, right? It could just escalate once again. So there's still a bit of uncertainty going on in the north up there. And also Middle East, let's not forget Israel, Iran. I don't know what's going on. They're likely trying to get those nuclear trade deals in to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon or developing nuclear weapons. And also Israel really wanting to continue to invade Gaza or whatever the case is. So it's still a bit of uncertainty going on around the world between China, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Iran, right? That's ultimately what's happening. And to make things, I don't know if better or worse, I don't know how to take this news, but the U.S. Court of International Trade has just blocked President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs, saying that the authority is with Congress. They're basically saying that the president has no authority to just impose tariffs on countries all at once, like he did on April 2nd, Liberation Day. And is this the same one I have over here? Kind of. Is this the same? No, this is different. Yeah, Trump has appealed the ruling that struck down his Liberation Day tariffs. And yeah, that's basically what's happening. U.S. Court of International Trade rules against President Trump's tariffs as invalid under IEEPA, whatever this means. International Emergency Economic Powers Act. President does not have the authority to unilaterally impose tariffs. This kind of would ruin what Trump is trying to do with tariffs, right? If his own, the own people in the government are stopping him from continuing with this stuff. Now, we know tariffs bring volatility to the market, so they would be slowing down the volatility in that sense, which would be good short term. But what about the economic outlook for the future of the United States if tariffs are no longer able to be put in play, at least not as easily as it once used to be able to? What's going to happen there? U.S. economy will probably not become what Trump envisions, is what I think. We shall see, though. In terms of Europe, we'll talk a bit about Europe here as well. Marco Rubio announces European and British officials who were complicit in censoring free speech are now banned from entering the United States. Cool, they're protecting the free speech stuff and, defending themselves against people who are anti-free speech, as we have seen in places like the United Kingdom and Europe. We've seen it everywhere, right? The French trying to censor, or at least control telegrams, stuff like that, something that's supposed to be encrypted or I guess decentralized, right? We'll talk a bit more about Telegram later too. But yeah, right? So there's that. European Union also says they're still ongoing with their discussions with the United States to finalize a new trade agreement. They had the extension granted. It was initially supposed to be beginning of June 1st or June 2nd or something like that. That got extended to July 9. So then I have a bit more time. Ms. von der Leyen asked Trump to give them more time, even though they had already a lot of time, to try to get some sort of trade deal in. But we shall see. We'll see what they come up with. United Arab Emirates and European Union have officially begun free trade talks. Seems like Europe is trying to circumvent or move their trade deal deals, right? Somewhere else, looking for another market. They're looking at the United Arab Emirates for likely free trade to kind of like avoid maybe the United States, because it still seems like a tariff will be put nonetheless, even if it's a small one. They kind of want to avoid it as much as they can, but they still want a bit of the US market, right? They want a piece of that cake, you know what I'm saying? So, of course, they will try their best to come up with a good deal to keep them as partners or something. Bitcoin conference is still happening. It's been ongoing yesterday. It's been ongoing today and will continue tomorrow. Today, JD Vance spoke, and Eric Trump and Trump Jr. also spoke today. I'm trying to think who else spoke. I don't remember off the top of my head. They're probably irrelevant. Nothing game-changing was announced. I mean, for JD Vance, the little bits that I saw is that, you know, he's seeing that the power of Bitcoin is in the United States, right? We already got the strategic reserve. Cynthia Loomis is helping out a lot. She's opening the eyes of other members of Congress that who were blind to Bitcoin before. JD Vance confirmed that he still owns his Bitcoin. Him and the president are working hard to make Bitcoin the capital, the U.S. capital, the capital of the U.S. world. You know what I mean? And yeah. And of course, his sons are also very bullish on Bitcoin and crypto. So overall, like, still good, but nothing crazy was announced. At least it wasn't heavily rumored like it was previously. Like, there was rumors before of other events, like that crypto event that was held at the White House. They were rumoring like, oh, they're going to announce zero capital gains tax on Bitcoin and crypto. But no, like, none of that happened. Of course, it was only a rumor. But this time around, there was no rumors, so everything was taken a little bit lightly, and we didn't get too crazy volatility today specifically. We had a little dip over here, but that's just normal morning volatility that happened. It's fine. Now, we know that Trump Media Technology Group has announced a $2.5 billion Bitcoin treasury deal, which was very bullish. And I wanted to check that as well, DJT, if their stock had any... Well, it's dropping. Yesterday, though, it did rise. Because the day before, Monday, the markets were closed, right? Am I blind? 4-hour chart. 27 was a drop. It seems like it opened with a gap up here, and then just a lot of sell-off. A 15% drop. I don't even understand why this happened 27th of May. That was yesterday. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, there you go. Market does the opposite of what you expect sometimes, and that's fine. GameStop just bought 4,710 Bitcoins. They finally did it. Ryan Cohen is finally buying Bitcoins. He bought $512 million worth. But, I mean, and you guys will probably remember this as well, if you're that far back of a viewer. I told this guy, Ryan Cohen, dump your $6 billion into Bitcoin now, back when Bitcoin was $70,000. I was going off on GameStop CEO to buy Bitcoin. I was asking the US to sell their gold to buy Bitcoin. Gold was at an all-time high back then. Literally, right? I will go to gold right now. April 20, right over here, right? And where is Bitcoin? April 20, around here. Yeah, 80,000 Bitcoin, all-time high gold. I was telling them, sell your Fort Knox reserves and buy Bitcoin. Look how much it's risen since then. Look how much gold has dropped since then. And we're still dropping right now. Even Supertrend has flipped bearish now. Interesting. Okay. But anyway, at least they started buying. That's good for GameStop. They did have $6 billion cash on hand. I'm pretty sure that amount changed, though. And I will confirm. GameStop. How much cash on hand do we know that they have as of January? It's now 4 billion. Oh yeah, the numbers got changed. I guess they lied or something. It's now $4 billion cash on hand as of January, which was 4 months ago now. So we don't have an exact update as to how much money they currently have. But yeah, cash on hand is still in the billions, right? But they only bought a couple $1 million, $500 million today, which is still good. 500 million, that's great. But come on. Like, you had billions back then. What are you doing? And they even raised money. They raised like another billion. I think it was a billion to buy more Bitcoin. I forget how much exactly that they raised, but we knew this day was coming and it finally came. So there you go. Let's all rejoice. NVIDIA had just reported their earnings today at the market close, so we should expect it to be on the rise by tomorrow pre-market. Earning per share of 81 cents, which beat the expectations of 75 cents per share, and the revenue of $44 billion, beating expectation of 43 billion. So good for NVIDIA, and that is likely going to carry the market tomorrow into the green. Although I see red. Is this... I think my chart is not showing me post-market, pre-market stuff. I could be wrong. Can't I go to... Okay, hold on. Last day change values, is that it? No, it's not it. Scales and lines. Previous day close, indicators, pre-post market value line. I mean, it's there, but it's not showing. Previous day close. No, I don't think this is what I'm looking for. That's fine, doesn't matter. Maybe this is indeed what it is, but I doubt it. I doubt NVIDIA should be dropping. I saw it was rising last time I checked. But anyway, still good earnings and should be good for AI cryptocurrencies that are involved with AI. So that'll be great. Here's a warning from BlackRock. It has specifically to do with quantum computing's threat to Bitcoin. In their last filing, that they warned that it could undermine the viability of Bitcoin's cryptographic systems. If you don't know, Bitcoin has to get mined, and we use our computers for that. We use NVIDIA chips, graphics cards, stuff like that. And there's always these big data mining centers. You need a lot of energy to mine Bitcoin because it's a complex way of solving these equations on your computer. And if you're one of the computers that gets it right, you earn some Bitcoin as a reward so that you can pay for your electricity bills because it consumes a lot of energy. People have found other alternatives, different forms of energy, volcanic energy, nuclear energy. But ultimately, we are under this threat of quantum computing, where if we do achieve this technology, which, I mean, quantum computing will just revolutionize everything we know about our financial systems in terms of even banking or literally anything that's cryptographic. It can crack a password much faster than, if you automate it with, like, what our current computer systems can do today. Like, what quantum computing can do is much scarier in that sense. And people would use this quantum computing technology towards Bitcoin mining, which would obviously solve these equations much quicker, mining Bitcoin much quicker. So that's just a bit scary. And that's the one warning that Larry Fink is talking about. We don't know when that's going to happen. We don't know when this technology will exist. Google claims to already have a chip of quantum computing already, but I think it's still very early in development. So nothing yet, but still something to be aware of nonetheless. And if you don't know as well, Bitcoin's still doing fine. Satoshi Nakamoto, anonymous founder of Bitcoin, has officially surpassed Microsoft's CEO, so Bill Gates, now becoming the 11th richest person in the world. So, I mean, all you gotta do is really hold Bitcoin. Either way, it's still gonna make you rich. We already know what happens once it reaches the market cap of real gold. Bitcoin will be at 1 million by then. U.S. Labor Department also withdraws their warning back in 2022 against crypto and 401k plans. Hopefully, BlackRock will do the same with their previous warning about quantum computing if quantum computing doesn't do what we expect it to do, or if that technology just doesn't exist at all. Maybe we'll see. What this is talking about specifically, though, is that, the U.S. Labor Department, sure, back in 2022, they put a warning against using Bitcoin in 401k plans for your retirement. They're saying, oh, it's a bit too risky, it's too volatile for you to be investing in Bitcoin. Also, back in 2022, we know where Bitcoin was back then, right? I'm on a monthly chart here. I think that's too excessive. Weekly chart. Bitcoin was all the way down here in 2022. Scary stuff happened. We went 69k and dropped to 20k, 16k. right? So they were saying Bitcoin's not a good investment. It's too volatile for your retirement. Well, they lied. If you invested, you would be more than retire. You would be retiring today, right? At our all-time high levels. So they withdrew their comments. Good, I guess. You can still do this though. You can still invest in Bitcoin for your 401k via ETFs or whatever your institutional investors provide for options on that. Vivo Power, another company, they're announcing an XRP treasury strategy and $121 million private placement priced at $6.05 per share. I never heard of this company before, Vivo Power, and I want to look it up. So, wait, what was the ticker? VVPR. Get this out of here. VVPR. Okay, PR. Come on. Here we go. I accidentally pressed C. It rose up over here after announcing this. This is in the weekly chart at least. A lot of volatility this week. I'm looking at here. It did rise on that news, it seems like. It's kind of cooled down a little bit. Current price is $6.78. It reached a high of $8.47. Pretty neat after it looked like a really dead stock back over here. What happened in March? This week, March, it's just started rising. Well, they've now disclosed this, so it must have something to do with it. Using XRP as a strategic reserve. Pretty good. The Security Exchange Commission also, we know this is coming, XRP ETF. They're reviewing Wisdom Tree's proposed spot XRP ETF. They're accepting public comments. That's good. We need to get these ETFs rolling out as soon as possible. They're likely to happen during the summer, which would just continue fueling the rise of crypto, which I still think will continue to rise during this summer. M2 money supply shows that. The chart that just points up. You already know. Long term. 21 Shares also files for a spot Dogecoin ETF. Pretty sure they already did this before, or maybe it was a different institution. Nonetheless, it's happening, probably. Although I don't know why a Dogecoin ETF, who would really want that? It's literally a meme coin, but, you know, use it for good projects is what I would suggest. Toncoin. Toncoin had a huge day today. Let me go to that. 12% up currently. It was much higher, though. Going from the price of sub $3, right? $2.90 to $3.69. 24% rise was the total movement, and we were now chilling at $3.40. I shorted around over here and took advantage of this drop, so I made a quick in and out, easy money, because I missed the big jump, of course. I no longer invest in Toncoin. I got liquidated on all my positions, so it's all gone. Doesn't matter. I still abuse it on the shorts. And I've seen people make a lot of money on Toncoin on shorts. I've tweeted about it somewhere. But yeah, this is the big news as to why we see this explosive movement from Telegram. Pavel Durov, CEO of Toncoin Telegram, says that they have partnered up with Twitter, XAI. They have agreed to a 1-year partnership to distribute Grok to Telegram's billion-plus users and integrate it into its apps. Telegram will be receiving $300 million in cash and equity from XAI, plus 50% of revenue from XAI subscriptions that were sold via Telegram. Together they will win. That's pretty cool. Great to see. And I don't know about this $12 target. That is way too excessive in my opinion, but it's still good to see nonetheless. This partnership between, I guess, Elon Musk and Pavel Durov. I don't know if Elon Musk specifically is talking about XAI, but XAI belongs to Elon Musk anyway, so you could technically say yes, that is what the partnership is with. You know, also happy to see Pavel Durov freed from the hands of the French from being incarcerated for privacy concerns with Telegram application. But he just had to comply with what Europe wants, which is unfortunate, but it's whatever. SUI updates on the CETUS hack. CETUS has requested a community-driven vote to recover the funds frozen following last week's hack. Something I discussed that would happen eventually, and here it is. Like, not the hack, but like the voting system. So the SUI Foundation has released code for an on-chain community vote. The validators can cast their votes on whether or not you know, I guess they should return the stolen funds or just, I don't know what the other option is. We can see over here though, voting process. Can I click on this? Hopefully it's not a scam website. No, I'm kidding. It's Sui Explorer. We're fine. What? Only 114 votes? So 23 have not voted. What is the question? Can I see the question? Okay, if the vote passes, the next SUI release will include a protocol upgrade that enables a one-time authentication of 2 special transactions. These transactions will be hard-coded with the 2 attacker addresses, stolen asset objects, and their destination. It will verify the voting results, and if approved, it will transfer the stolen funds from the attacker's address to a CEDIS multi-signature wallet with CEDIS, the SUI Foundation, and OtterSec acting as signers. So it seems like the votes majority is voting yes, 2 have said no, 2 have abstained, 23 have not yet voted. But even if they do vote no, yes would win, right? 23 plus 2 is 25, so 87 to 25 minimum, or maximum, I guess. It's likely that they will have to return the stolen funds back, it seems like, to a CEDIS multisig wallet and the SUI Foundation. It's going to be up for 7 days. Once submitted, your vote cannot be changed. They're weighted by validator stake. Okay, so it's, I guess, by important people only, seems like. Cool. All right. Well, we practically know the outcome of this already. So that's your update on SUI. And what else did they say here? While the validators cast votes, the SUI community are represented by where your holdings are staked. Okay, that makes sense. You may change your stake delegation to a validator who voted in alignment with your preference. So obviously, like, it's not every person that has SUI will be able to get to vote. It's only the validators. And if you have your staked SUI in one of those validators, that validator represents you, I guess. There we go. That's your update on SUI. Circle. They were going to submit their IPO filing to list on the New York Stock Exchange. They're basically going to be a part in the stock market, right? And I mean, this announcement basically just means they will not be acquired by Ripple or Coinbase. Circle, of course, having to do with USDC, right? So they've also denied reports about their potential acquisition talks with Ripple or Coinbase. Because there was rumors, right? Either Ripple is going to buy Circle or Coinbase will. Most people were hoping, I guess, that Coinbase would, but now I'm seeing people just saying that, okay, it's better if nobody buys them, and, you know, Circle is just their own independent company that goes on the stock exchange, right? Coinbase already has its own stock. Ripple is Ripple. Circle have said that they are not for sale. Their long-term goals remain the same, so that's the end of that. Stablecoin, cool. I don't even know what is going to cause the price movement of it. Probably just what they hold in terms of reserves for like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Might be the case. Speaking of Coinbase, they said that they will be removing a couple of their coins, suspending trading for some coins if you use Coinbase or if you care at all. Helium Mobile Render, which surprised me. Actually, not really. Okay, it surprised me at first, but I realized this is the old ticker for Render, which was back when it was using Ethereum blockchain. They now use Solana blockchain, and they changed their ticker to like the full word RENDER, I think. You can check on CoinMarketCap. Like, it's no longer RNDR. You're not going to find it with that anymore. Watch me get proved wrong. Like, yeah, this is the old one with Ethereum, you can see. But the current one is Render, just the full word Render. Yeah, this is the current one at number 45. RNDR got migrated to Render, and this one uses Solana now. SolScan, you can see. So that's getting removed. Ribbon Finance, Synapse, removing that on June 6th around 2 p.m. Eastern Time, if you care at all, like I said. I don't use Coin. I do have Coinbase, but I don't use it. It's garbage. They get hacked. Anyway, they were literally talking about Coinbase at the Bitcoin conference, saying like, oh, they're so secure, they never get hacked. I'm like, yeah, they do. They get hacked all the time. They go down all the time, but it's fine. This is the former Venmo CEO. He is an anti-aging enthusiast. His name is Brian Johnson. I guess also bullish on Bitcoin. And he has said that the last Bitcoin halving, which is in 2140 that year, according to what most people estimate, That will be the last Bitcoin that will be mined. The 21st millionth Bitcoin will be mined by then. He says that he is going to be here for that by the year 2140. And he is going to make sure that we are too. That's a bold claim, first of all. He is claiming that we might be the first generation that won't die. I'm assuming he feels like he's found this anti-aging technique of some sort. I mean, if that does exist, I'd probably still want to die normally. Like, I don't know if I'd want to live for two. I don't even know. Like, we'll see. We'll see where life takes us. Like, nobody can predict when you will die. But yeah. What we can predict is a big asteroid is going to hit us, and it's going to have 1,000,000 times more energy than the Hiroshima atomic bomb. Source, trust me, bro. Let me see. The chances are extremely low, according to what I'm seeing over here. It's not predicted to impact Earth soon. Possibly not for thousands of years. Oh, okay. 3 asteroids with energy millions times greater than the Hiroshima bomb are heading toward Earth, but this exaggerates the threat. Okay, so it's not that not that dangerous, I assume. There's no immediate risks which won't approach Earth for thousands of years. Okay, cool. Maybe you, if you want to live long enough to see this, good on you, but not me. I was thinking like this is gonna come in the next maybe 50 years or something. You know, I was gonna invalidate the previous claim of Ryan. What is his name? Ryan Johnson? Brian Johnson? Johnson? Brian Johnson. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's all. That's all the news I have then for today. What else we got? Volatility index kind of coming down again. Want to start accumulating VIX over here. Yep. All right, maybe we start a new downtrend forming. Like a lot of it we're kind of seeing, so we do need a breakout imminent as soon as possible. We could be getting some of that economic data this week that could help move us up there. What I'm looking at specifically is GDP that we'll be getting tomorrow and PCE price index as well. What happened at the FOMC minutes is surely something was mentioned. I'm pretty sure something was mentioned. Something along the lines of like inflation isn't as bad as we expected it to be, which is a good thing, right? That would mean possibility of more rate cuts if they don't expect inflation to be on the rise, right? FOMC minutes. Can I just look this up and get a summary, hopefully? Here it is. There's a cautious approach appropriate amid uncertainty. Fed well positioned to wait for clarity on outlook, minutes say. The Fed officials saw potential for difficult trade-offs ahead. Yeah, there's no negative revisions, so it's overall good, I assume. Paraphrase, basically the same thing what they said on May 7th. Yeah, so nothing really changed. Alright. So, yeah, that's all we got for FOMC minutes today. These stuff will be important, though. We'll probably change the percentages of rate cuts that we will be getting. Where do I find my rate cuts, man? Next meeting in 20 days, June 18. 97% chance nothing happens. Then a 70% chance. Still looking like one rate cut. And then the second rate cut in December. Of 83% chance. Yeah, still looks the same. Approximately the same. The percentage just changed a little bit. Like this used to be a 90%. Or this one also used to be something 90%. But it's still there. I also wanted to check ETFs. $385 million inflow yesterday. Today, it's looking like a bit of an outflow, unless, of course, BlackRock saves us, which tends to be the case most of the time. I think we're becoming a little bit too reliant on BlackRock, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Short term, that is a good thing. Long term, maybe not. They're just going to start lending out Bitcoin left, right, and center and making billions of dollars every year. That's at least what people are speculating. Okay, though. That's really all the news I have for today. It was a bit heavy, so hope you stayed with me for all that. Bitcoin rose above 108,000 again. There we go. I'm happy to end the stream here. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow, and we'll talk about the economic data we get and maybe some other news. All right, take care. Have a good night. Bye.